you're going to have to go through some tough times. You have long nights, you have difficult kids, you have this and that. But when you're going through it and you get stronger and better and wiser and more mature, then sure, you will get to that point, what you envisioned, and it's going to feel great. Hello to all of you Soulful Intuitive, and welcome back. Thank you so much for sharing, liking, and subscribing. And we are going to have a great talk today about manifestation of our dreams. I was listening to one of my favorite channels by Lee Harris, who does channeling by this collective entity called Z's, and they were talking about how we are living our lives exactly as we dreamed it and as exactly as we hoped for it. And it got me thinking about my own life and about the kind of life I'm living. And I started thinking about when I was younger, in my teens, and then later on when I became older, in my 20s and then 30s, and in regards to all the ups and downs, I overall am living the life that I planned and I wished. But the thing is that sometimes when we're younger, we're told that this is the limit of how far you can reach, and this is the limit of how big you can dream, and this is the limit for you as a person, or for us as a family, or for us as a race. We all put these limits on ourselves based on what we were told growing up, and also based on our society, because our society tells us, for example, that if you don't have a degree, you can't get a job, or if you don't come from a rich family, then this is the glass ceiling, or if you aren't attractive, you can't be an actor, or if you're not tall enough, you can't be a model. And maybe there's some truth into all of those theories or semi-facts, but we all know the exception to the rule in all of those scenarios. Kate Moss, shorts, became a model. So many people who are actors who aren't attractive, or at least by society standards, not that I'm judging their level of attractiveness, but also people who became billionaires and didn't have any degrees or education. So these are the limitations that we put on ourselves, and because we don't see ourselves doing it, we won't then manifest them. So it's important to keep a little log or vision board or journal of the things and the dreams that you dreamt and the wishes that you had when you were younger, and also put a check mark next to it when they happened. So for example, for me, I remember I was working at Safeway, which is a chain of grocery stores, when I was in my late teens, and we had to wear a tie and green apron because I worked in the produce section, and you had to show up on time, and you had to watch your mouth. You couldn't say whatever you wanted to say, and you had to always wear a uniform, and you had to constantly say, hello, how can I help you? Hello, how can I help you? With a smile on your face, because you were being secretly shopped. And that was a turning point for me, where I realized that no, I don't want to work a job where I have these shifts that are given to me by others. I want to wear what I want to wear, and I want to say what I want to say, and I want to have a hair that I want to have. And I don't want to be told that you have to cover your tattoos, or you can't look flashy, or you have to pretend you're smiling and have to constantly be fake because, let's face it, you don't always want to help people when you're working in a grocery store, yet that's your job, and I respect that. But so that became a point for me where I realized that, okay, like, so I'm brainstorming. And then I was also growing up, I had a dream that I wanted to be a doctor. But thank God that as part of that dream, you also have to volunteer at the hospital. And I did. And I realized in less than a year that I don't want to work at a hospital. I don't like these fluorescent lighting. People come to the hospital usually because they're in pain and they're not happy. And I think the happiest word probably is the maternity ward. And take a walk through that when someone's giving birth and like you feel and you hear pain. And me being an empath, I was very much affected by it, where the idea of being a doctor and helping people and bringing good into this world by healing others was something, but the actuality of being a doctor and wearing those blue scrubs and also having those difficult shifts and being told again what to wear and what to say and their code of conducts and all of that, I did not find that even remotely appealing. So that ended that dream for me because I had an idea or a glossy version of being a doctor, but like a TV doctor, but I really didn't understand the reality of being a doctor. And tried different things. And after taking psychology and sociology and all those humanities and basically finishing 4 or 5 years of college, I sort of landed into doing what I have been doing for the past so many years, doing hair. So being a hairstylist, you can say whatever you want. Hair salons are very free environments. You can wear whatever you want, mainly, unless you work for a franchise, which I never did. And you can do your hair however you want. You fix your own hours. And even though you do long hours, you have planned it, so it's your doing. So I work there. I work every weekend, and that's what most hairstylists do. And but I'm basically self-employed, and I work for me, and I also don't have to fake anything. The days that I'm not feeling upbeat, I share those thoughts and stressors, or if anything that is on my mind, I share it with my clients, and they share their own issues with me. So it's a very genuine back and forth. There's no faking, no one's cold calling or secret shopping me. And so in a way, I ended up exactly at a job what I had envisioned, that wear what I want, say what I say, do what I do, look the way I look, and be creative. And hair salons also typically are kind of an upbeat environment. You'll usually have a few people that you're working with, and they're cracking jokes, and they're talking about anything from trivial to like deep conversations. So depending on, the day of the week or what's happening, it usually is an uplifting place. So that was my job. And then the same thing happened with where I want to live and who I want to be with. Although some of those dreams take a while in order to manifest in your life. Kind of like you put the seed in the ground and the germination and everything's happening, but when you look above the ground, you can't see anything. But that doesn't mean that nothing's happening. It just means that it hasn't become a physical reality. And there, for example, I remember that a few years ago, maybe like 8 years ago, I decided that, I work too much and I want to travel. But the money for the kind of travel that I wanted to do, going with my partner to different cities in Europe and really just exploring and going to museums and going to coffee shops or restaurants and just experiencing Europe, was very expensive. But I really put the seeds out there, and one night at like midnight, I'm on my computer, I think, and a website called Buy VR Deal, which is a discount website for flights, emailed me, and I signed up, and then I went on their website, and it just so happened that they were having this amazing deal that you can go from Canada to a couple of European cities, capitals, and back for less than $600 per person, which was unheard of and still is. And so I just immediately bought it because I asked and Universe delivered. There was another trip that we took to Ireland that I think we paid less than $200 from Canada to Ireland and back, and it had a layover in England, which gave us almost a day to get out of the airport and go to the city and explore the city. So if you want to really get an inventory of all these things that you're constantly visualizing in the ether, because when we think about something, we can't see it in the physical world, but as soon as we start thinking and putting energy into our thoughts, something starts happening in the ether. And think of the ether, or you want to call it void or dark matter, things like they used to call it like emptiness, but it's not. Now we know that this whole world is made from the ether or the dark matter, basically the empty space that we call it empty, but there's a lot of energetic exchange happening, and we will one day hopefully understand it. But for now we don't. But we can compare ether, or that empty space, to the soil. So when you plant the seed in the soil, is the equivalent of when you start thinking about something and giving it energy. And you can give it energy with your emotions, you could give it energy with your thoughts, you can give it energy with your actions and with your focus. And the more energy you put on that thought, a particular thought, the more powerful it gets. So then it's just germinating, and it starts finding a way to make it happen. And you keep on doing that, and then one day you will see the green stem coming out of the soil. And that is such a proof if we look at everything in our lives, from little things to big things, from finding the right parking spot, because sometimes it takes only a few seconds or a few minutes because it's not that complex, and sometimes it's complex. Sometimes it takes universe a little bit to put everything together. And we don't have to worry about it. We just ask what, and we do not concern ourselves with how. And the universe will deliver. And that famous quote that says, ask and bask and let the how thou. Or let the how wow. Yeah. Ask and bask and let the how wow. So it just amazes you when it happens, but that's what the universe does. And or another example, if I want to give you, is all of the places where we live. We wanted to live somewhere close to work. We couldn't afford it, particularly in that area, and we wanted to be close to transit. Yet we wanted to have a bit of a view, but we also wanted to have an apartment that was big enough and we could fit all of our stuff in. And boom, we found something that had something wrong with the balcony, and they wanted to have it rented out immediately, and nobody wanted to go into an apartment where there was an issue with the balcony, but they had already signed, the entire building had already signed a contract, and they were going to completely redo this whole building from balcony to windows, and we got it half price. And So when you line all of these things up, you realize that, sure, if you want to pick up the paper, if you want to talk to the pessimists in your life, if you want to talk to people who are logic and material and realist and, they give it to you straight, sure, a lot of things will happen. A lot of your dreams are ridiculous. A lot of your visions that you have are even embarrassing to share. However, if you just want to keep it to yourself, because we should keep our dreams to ourselves, because we only share usually because we doubt it. We share because we want to hear people going, oh yeah, it's gonna happen, do it, yeah, you're gonna get it, girl, you're gonna get it, boy. But unfortunately, when you expose yourself like that, you're gonna get a good portion of naysayers, and that will put a damper on it. And then you start doubting yourself. And then once you start doubting yourself, that's the equivalent of you stop watering that seed that you planted a while back. And no water, no plant. No water, no growth. So by sharing, you just sort of stop the process. Unless you have that one person in your life who is always rooting for you and understand the power of manifestation and understand the power of thoughts, and sure, share it with them. But I've learned that usually I don't, because people who love me the most also are very concerned for me the most and also want to protect me. And sometimes I realize that I dream big, and I have always dreamed big. When I was a kid, I had big dreams, and when I got older, I had big dreams, and I used to just share them. And usually I was told that, oh, you have big imagination, or, oh, we're just ordinary people. And I didn't understand why being ordinary had anything to do with dreaming big. I think, ordinary or not, we're entitled to our dreams, and some dreams are big, and there's nothing wrong with that. So I just stopped sharing. But I usually share when it's about to happen, to make my loved ones and my friends happy, because that's the good thing to do, to share your happiness. But when I'm dreaming, no, that's personal. I'm not sharing it with you. It's in my thoughts. It's between me and Mother Nature. It's between me and Mother Divine. And I think about them every day. If I have to, I write about them. If I have to, I collage about it. If I have to, I make booklets about it. I do whatever I can in order to water it, in order to take care of the seed, and let that turn into a luscious plant, a luscious yard, farm, if you want to call it that, of my dreams. And then when it's time to harvest, I invite all my friends and family. I'm like, let's feast. This is because I believed in my own dream, and I never think that any dream is big enough. But of course, whenever you want something from the universe will challenge you, because on your way to get to that dream, you're supposed to learn and grow. Because if there is no growth involved, the dreams won't come true. So subconsciously, we always dream for things that will get us to that point of maturity. So the karmic path that we have laid out for ourselves before we came into this world also is a reason behind that whisper that you want to go to that university, you want to marry that person, you want to have that many kids, you want to live in that neighborhood, you want to have that job. Those are all the whispers that we hear in our intuitive ears, and then we follow it, because on our way to get to that dream, we will have to go through some hardcore training. And it's like when you want to have kids, great, but in order to be a parent, you're gonna have to go through some tough times. You have long nights, you have difficult kids, you have this and that, but when you're going through it and you get stronger and better and wiser and more mature, then sure, you will get to that point, what you envisioned, and it's going to feel great. So think about all of your dreams as an opportunity to grow. And when you are dreaming, also acknowledge that on my way to manifest my dreams, I will come through some ups and some downs, and the ups I will enjoy and the downs I will endure. And as a matter of that, the endurance, the perseverance, and the will, the strong will, your dream will come into fruition. I want everyone who believes in their own dreams and who understand the power of the universe in bringing our dreams into reality to water the seed and give it attention, give it intention, and give it the assurance every day that your dream is valid, it's not too big, there is no ceiling, and more importantly, it is your private dream, so keep it to yourself. And then when it happened, share it with the world so others know that it will happen when you give it power. And dreams are happening because there is a whisper in our heart that will get us to the point of wanting to dream. And after we dreamt about it, then the rest is just everyday routine in order to nurture that dream until the dream is visible to everyone else. Thank you very much for watching me and this episode, and please share your thoughts, and I will talk to you very soon in our next episode. Thank you. Bye.